Oxford and Wiltshire.
Now, number 14 coming round the arena now is the first of our Showmans vehicles. It would have been used predominantly with fairs, circuses and the likes, and we've got a selection coming into the arena now which all vehicles that have had a history
and has been with its current owner since 2009 and can be seen pulling a 1950s Colchester living wagon to shows. This Scammell yesterday and the day before did some able work out in the middle of the arena. In fact, the day before yesterday he had 5 vehicles linked up to him, which he pulled very successfully around the arena.
This Scammell's powered by the Rolls-Royce Eagle, the 305 diesel engine. Now, Rolls-Royce, although it sounds a prestigious name, yes, it is prestigious. However, the military chose to use Rolls-Royce as one of their power plants because they knew of the reliability that this engineering could actually provide, and in the event of breakdown, parts could be supplied readily and even transported out to other countries throughout the world rather rapidly to keep these vehicles in motion. Well, the other Showmans vehicles are coming up towards the arena. Obviously there's a little demonstration of the dexterity of this mighty machine going on, so we'll leave it with him to entertain you for a couple of minutes.
AC Matadors are still in use in certain rear quarters. It was new to Tools Limited of Angusfield, Aberdeen in July 1957. It spent its working life there doing low loader work until the mid 1970s. Subsequently fitted with its Showman's body, purchased by the present owners in 2007. Who take it regularly to different steam rallies around the country with their Showman's living wagon, owned by Mr. Wastell from Berkshire.
Number 155, a Rolls-Royce powered Scammell. This is a 1963 Handyman, and handy they are indeed. This was previously owned by Edwards of Swindon, and it was used to transport fairground rides, and it's still fitted today with the original Rolls-Royce engine. Now this one's fitted with the Michelati style cheese grater cab, which the you to see and take pictures of.
Number 156 passing me now is a 1965 Scammell Highwayman, owned by Mr. Parslow from Oxford, who uses it to tow his Showman's living wagon, which is displayed down in the commercial section. This is ex-Shellmex BP in Scotland. As many of these Scammell Highwaymen were, they to petrol specification, and they towed the petrol tankers.
This is again another Scammell. This one's the Highwayman. He's got a generator unit on the back, as you can see, and it was common to actually have the radiator grille from Scammell's fitted to the generator sets, because it always seemed appropriate. Now, this one was first used as a Shell petrol tanker, and then it went straight into show use. And it's thanks to Mr. Mitchin
Of any
from
information
Gloucester.
anyone can give. It's now been fitted with a very aggressive looking high-ab crane on the rear, which has got hydraulic legs to keep it steady, and it's typical of a crane used by Showman for in particular, lifting Dodgem cars on
Gardner
the frame
engine.
truck.
It was specifically designed for use with articulated trailers for carrying both liquids and solids in bulk. It was built for the Shell Petroleum Company, who used it for some 10 years, and it's presented by Mr. and Mrs. Wastel from Berkshire.
This also tows a living wagon, a Birkby living wagon, with the Michelotti cheese cutter cab. This is a fiberglass cab, quite revolutionary in its day when it first came out, but I think we've all got used to them now after about 40 years. This was new to Bass Charrington in the West Country, then sold to showman Robert Chipperfield, and used for towing their big wheel and pay box around the country.
Now, if you look at the back of it, there's a picture of it when it was new, to the dairy company. Also, if you look, although it was an Arctic unit, it's got a fifth wheel coupling, but it's not attached to the chassis like modern fifth wheel couplings are. This was to get over a couple of things. The speed limit back in the 1920s was 12 miles an hour as a lorry, or 5 miles an hour towing a trailer. However, by mounting the fifth wheel onto the axle,
Thank you to Mr. Hatter.
This vehicle also was, I was told a couple of days ago, worked for the same showman as number 142, which was West Country showman Bernard Hill, so they were there together. Number 142 is a 1946 Scammell Showman's tractor, and that's a CD45, again a chain drive vehicle. Very slow on the road, but they were used to generate on the showground. They would transfer the box on the back, and then when they'd finished generating, it would be transferred back onto the gearbox, and off they'd go up the road, albeit very slowly. It was purchased by the second and present owner, Mr. Evans of Avon, in 1972 to tow his Brian Donkin steam plant, presented today by his daughter.
Number 154, a 1962 Scammell Highwayman in ballast tractor format.
Been a regular here at the Dorset Steam Fair, again with a Showman's living wagon, which you can see down in the commercial vehicle section. Another regular at the Great Dorset, and a very long travelled owner, Brian and Helen McGinley from Lanarkshire. Every year they come down from the Glasgow area with their 1960 AEC Mercury Showman's lorry and their Showman's living wagon. This vehicle has a 112 horsepower engine, and it was new to Hawley and Munro of Aberdeen. Acquired in
Vehicle presented by
1962
the Street family from Dorset, so not too far travelled to this show, but travels many miles to others. This is a 1951 Scammell Explorer. This is powered by the Leyland 680 engine, rather than the Gardner like they also use. It's known as Sir Winston. It was built for the military as a 6x6 recovery vehicle, direct from Scammell's themselves.
Foden Fleetmaster Showman's tractor, owned by Lewis and Gilly Dickens from Leicestershire. Lewis, a very good friend of mine, has helped me out on a number of occasions. This vehicle was new to British Telecom and then went on to Roads Recovery of Market Harborough, near where Lewis lives. He then purchased it and converted it to this Showman's tractor, which he uses to tow his Southern's living van. They also tow their rides.
Now we've got 147 coming past us in the commentary box now. This is a 1952 Scammell Showman's tractor with the 112 horsepower Gardner engine fitted. So this one's got the Gardner opposed to the Leyland now. It was originally built as a tanker for Shellmex BP. It was converted to a drawbar tractor by showman Joe Hill from Bristol.
Mr. Wyatt from Hampshire.
Now we've got 105. Now this is an Atkinson Venturer, 1972, powered by the 240 Gardner engine, and it was originally used to pull the Wall of Death. And now pulls the owner, Mr. Gibbs, his living van, which is a Showmans caravan, which can be seen down on the showground to his lorry.
Number 132 is a 1984 ERF 290 tractor unit. This is double drive, owned by Gibbs family from Swindon. This vehicle was used to pull a big wheel on the showground. As I say, double drive capability, so that means they can get in and out of muddy fields. A vehicle with single drive and twin rear wheels is no good on a muddy field.
This one is wearing the heavy recovery guides. After demob, it was used in a garage in Cirencester, and then it went to Botham's Circus, which was used to pull the elephant trailer. So, as you can imagine, a fair bit of power needed to pull elephants along, so they chose this Explorer. It's currently used for coming to the rallies and pulling a 30-foot living van.
Steam Fair, and is a 1970 Foden S39 Showman Special. I saw this getting on for 20 years ago when it was owned by a gentleman from Wales who used to pull his fairground organ to this event. It then went to a friend of ours down in Kent and has recently been bought by Mr. Scott from Andover. Fitted with a 180 Gardner diesel, it was new to Lloyd's of Ludlow for steel haulage, then moved to Sharples of Eardesley, Herefordshire.